Hi, everybody. I'm Scotty Gange. This week on Be Better, we sat down with Broomfield girls basketball coach Mike Kroll. He's a Broomfield alum. He's coached there for 23 years, and he's won 6 state titles in his time as an Eagle. In our conversation, we broke down how he's led those teams through the years and what he's learned about himself along the way, too. Hope you enjoy. In your years of coaching, you mentioned earlier that it's been 23 years here at Broomfield as the head girls basketball coach. What have you taken from those 23 years and growing as a coach and yourself?
Well, it's been a great experience. The relationships that you make in 23 years is incredible. But I kind of have a great memory of all the kids. I mean, I can go back to my first teams and remember just about every kid. And, the relationships you make not only with the kids, but also with the parents. And then it's been very special for me because I've been able to coach here at Broomfield High School where I graduated. And I got a chance to coach my daughter, which was very special. And, I got a chance to coach with my boys. When they came through, I took 3 years off and got to coach them. And then now I'm back, for better or worse. So it's been a great experience.
What's that experience been like in getting to be connected with so many different players through the years, including your children?
Well, I guess one of the greatest thrills is your connection, and you know that they left here with good memories. And there's no greater thrill than seeing them come back through the doors as a spectator, just to say hi. I have got 3 ex-players on my staff right now. I have 2 other ex-players who pop in from time to time and help out, and to me that's a great thrill. That shows me that their time here at Broomfield High playing for Broomfield girls basketball was a thrill, and they liked it.
From 2007 to 2011, you guys won 5 straight state championships. What did you learn about yourself through just what I think it was 134-6 record within 5-year span?
Well, that showed that we've been very fortunate to have a lot of great kids come through.
A whole lot of fun too, huh?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, it's a memory that obviously will never leave us. I try to tell people, that was very, very special. And it was a very special group of girls for a lot of years. But a lot of people forget, they always want to talk about the 5 in a row, but what people forget is that, from my first year that I took over until last year, we've never had a team that didn't at least make the Final 8 or better. And, so people don't realize that there was a lot of really, really good kids that came before those 5 state championships. But obviously people always want to talk about those, and that's fine. But we've had a lot of great kids come through this program over the years and continue to.
Through all those great kids, I'm guessing you've shared so many different lessons with your players, but what have your players through the years taught you?
I think there's so much outside things going on in these kids' lives. It's awfully tough to, to not be a one sport athlete at a big school because they're getting pulled by this club or this or that. And the ones that can juggle that and their schools, they've showed me that, I do have to back off a little bit because a lot of times you're not quite sure what's going on in these kids' lives. They'll come to your practice, and then on a weekend they're going to another practice. And then on top of that, you look at these kids' academic performance, and you're just like, holy smokes, how do you do it? It's incredible. But they really have learned to budget their time, and as coaches, we have to budget our time and take things like that into account. We've had to be a lot more flexible. I mean, there was a day and time when, if some kid came up and said they were going to miss a practice or they were going to go to this or go to that, you'd say, yeah, right. No way.
You're going to miss the game too, huh?
Yeah, no way. And now it's like, well, this is kind of the hand we've been dealt here with these last X amount of years.
So what's the difference from Coach Kroll back at High Plains High to Coach Kroll right now?
Oh boy. The kids back then could probably tell a lot better stories. I'm still intense, and it like I said, like we've talked about, the times have changed. You can't do some of the things that you did back then today. There's no way. I mean, it's like you talk to old players or you talk to, like I have a gal right now who's coaching with me, Brenna Chase, she was on our last state championship team. She just finished up with 4 years at BYU. And she's told me a couple times, God, Kroll, you're getting soft. And I said, yeah, well, things have changed a little bit. You can't do that anymore. There's just no way. And and not that it was crazy back then, but it just you learn. I mean, as you get older, you get a little more mellow. You figure out a different way to get things across. You realize you don't have to be quite the yeller or screamer, although sometimes kids would say, yeah, right. But it does happen from time to time. But things have changed a little bit.
What would you say, being a coach for so long, is the most important trait you can have in leading young people?
Well, I hope they walk out the door, and this was a good experience for them, but they learned the concept of being a part of a team. I mean, there's not too many jobs. I used to tell them this all the time. Not too many jobs in the world where you just punch your time clock and go to sit in a cubicle and that's your day. Being a part of a team, being a part of somebody is going to rely on me to get my job done. The correlations between being on a team and playing a sport and the real life. You're teaching, at the end of the day, you're teaching real life lessons, all right? And you hope that they can take those real life lessons and apply them to their life, be it, as far as responsibility as a college kid or as a young adult, what have you. And you hope that that's what they walk out of here with, is a good work ethic, a concept of responsibility, being able to be on time and you got a job to do, and being a part of a team and working with other people.
3 years of coaching here at Broomfield, at Fairview, at High Plains High. What do you think you'll cherish the most when looking back on everything?
Boy, there's so much. It's hard to put your finger on one thing. I guess the relationships that you make with the kids and the parents. I mean, I have a lot of good friends in the community where I've coached their kids. And I've known coaches that are just like, oh gosh, the one thing that ran me out of coaching was the parents. And they ran me out, or I hated it, or this did, and hey, I'd be lying if you don't have a little bit of that. But I'm excited that I've been able to make a lot of friends in the community, that I'm in a community where I grew up in, and I've been here since 1970, and that I've been able to hopefully put a stamp on the community, not only my own, but hopefully the kids that have come through the program, had a great experience and, are still friends of yours, or people who you can call, or they call you for a recommendation or things like that. I think that's my ultimate job, is that, hey, preparing them for life.
I'm wondering, it's in coaching, but also just in your daily life as an individual, is there a sort of quote or a life lesson you rely on the most that gets you through your days that you think has been the best and most beneficial for you?
Boy, I would say that you don't, I guess it was a Gary Williams quote. I don't know if it was a quote, but something that he said, the old coach at Maryland, and he was a few other places I know of. And he said that, you may have more talent than us, or you may, have this or that we don't have, but I'm going to go to work every day and I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to get ahead because I'm prepared and I'm going to outwork you. I'm not just, going to show up and send it in, and I like to think that we, here at Broomfield High School, our coaching staff and our kids generally, we put the time in. We've been blessed with a lot of good kids, but one thing I'll tell the kids at 8 o'clock in the morning when we're having open gyms, and gosh, back in the day, this is back to your question of me getting what it was like back in the day. We'd come in at 7 in the morning all summer long. And
which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, now we've moved it to 8 o'clock. and one of my coaching points is I say, hey, there's probably not too many other teams across the state that are up here at 8 o'clock in the morning doing this, So, hey, get up and do the work. And we leave it open. I say, hey, if you're in town, you're there. If you're not in town, I don't understand the concept of you laying in bed knowing that your teammates are trying to make themselves better. And there are sacrifices to being good, even if you're great. And every once in a while you have to remind them of that.
Working hard as a team and having some pride into it, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't want to be that weak link. You don't want to be the one laying in bed when everybody else is working. So that's always been, that's why we've always been, I think, fairly tough here. And you try to tell them that, yeah, it may be tough here, but somewhere down the line, hopefully it'll make you a better person in life.
Coach, the most important question I can ask you, are you having fun?
Oh yeah. If you gave me a call last night about 4 in the morning, I'd probably say, well, I guess I still enjoy what I'm doing when I know that I very much enjoy winning, obviously, but the losing still tears me up. And I guess when it gets to that point where I don't care if I lose, and I don't care about the kids who walk out the door or come in the door, and it's just like, you get to the point where you're kind of sending it in, that's when it's time to leave.
You obviously care so much, Coach. Thank you so much for the time. Love having you with this.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot for coming up.
Yes, sir.